Hello, everyone, and welcome to the episode of Talking Trash Panda. Welcome back to the dumpster. And today we're going to discuss the May 11th episode of Monday Night Raw. So the show starts off with Roman Reigns arriving to the arena in my home away from home, Knoxville, Tennessee, home of the Tennessee Volunteers. They were just down the street from Neyland. And he's greeted by Adam Pearce, and it's a segment that's kind of forgettable, but Roman says, "Where's my world championship?" and he gets it back. Pearce says that he can't fire Jacob, and Roman says that Jacob hasn't acknowledged him yet, and Roman made the call to bring Jacob Fatu to WWE. He'll be the one to take him out. I don't care about this. I think it's after their match at Backlash. I've lost interest in this. The ending at Backlash really soured it for me, but I was optimistic at this point during the show. I was like, oh, okay, maybe we'll get some different, but we'll get into that. So Paul Heyman comes out with the Vision, and they cut a promo, doing cheap heel tactics, talking about Knoxville, and they were very, very heavy on the incestual stuff, and even Michael Cole said, all right, let's pump the brakes. I thought it was a bit much, but it was cheap heel shit. It's what you do when you're arguing or trying to get heat. Logan Paul did not do a great job here. His promo work right here was weak. Montez Ford proves why he's a great talent in WWE once again with his promo work, and so does Angelo. But this sets up the first match of the night, which was the Vision versus the Street Hendrys. So good match. I'm gonna give this about a 3.5. I think they did great with the time they had. It showcased Joe Hendry's abilities in the ring, and it showcased why the Street Profits are in the position they're in. It was a great match. Showed a bunch of great spots. I enjoyed the match. Bunch of stiff shots from both sides. And at the end of the match, Joe Hendry wins after Seth Rollins gets involved and screws over Braun Breaker. And Joe Hendry and the Street Profits win by pinfall. However, after the match, Seth helps up Angelo Dawkins and almost throws Dawkins into a spear. And at first, I was thinking to myself, "Oh, okay, so they're setting up for they still can't trust Seth and all this stuff." And I thought Angelo was going to echo that, but we'll get into what happens later with that. But Joe Hendry and the Street Profits win, 3.5 stars. That's all I got to say on that front. Next up, we have a backstage segment with, again, this cannot end quick enough. It sets up a great match later tonight, but man, dude, this fucking feud with El Grande Americano and OG Americano just cannot end quick enough. God, dude, the Creed brothers in masks is stupid. It's dumb. They don't look right. It doesn't fit these guys, and it bugs me. And it just took me out of this part because I was like, dude, if it was just the OG Americano and Pierce and Dom, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. This is great. But it wasn't, and it's just bad. And it kind of takes this show down a couple tiers because it looks dumb, and it's not a good look for the company. It's not a good look for the Creed brothers. But it sets up a mega championship match between Dom and OG later on in the evening. But man, this segment was it was hindered by Julius and Brutus Creed. So next up, my favorite thing about Monday Night Raw Wrestling has been the IC Championship division between Penta, Ethan Page, Rusev, and Javon Evans. This was amazing. Penta comes out, cuts a promo. Ethan Page comes out, cuts one of the greatest promos he's done in wrestling to date with Penta. And I just have to say, Ethan Page has it all. He has the look, he walks, and he has the talk. I think when it comes to Ethan Page, when it comes to where he can go in WWE, the sky's the fucking limit. He cut a really good promo here, worked really well with Penta, and so did Rusev. It was a funny segment. It was a great segment and a great rebound off of the backstage bullshit that we just saw. If you want to listen to a guy that knows his character, a guy that is a good heel, listen to this segment and just listen to how Ethan Page enunciates what he says, how his face reacts to certain things, the slight smirks, the shit-eating heel that he is. And it's great. It's fantastic. And I love it. I wish more people took notes of this, because this is what you should do, especially with a call-up. And Javon Evans and Ethan Page and Rusev and Penta have been cooking every week on Monday Night Raw. And this is no different. This leads into, after the match has been announced, Penta, Ethan Page, possibly a Saturday night's main event, I believe, for the IC title. Next up, a 4-star bout between Rusev and Javon Evans. Again, you cannot go wrong with these four. Whatever they're doing in this company, whatever they're doing, these four, their chemistry in the ring is incredible. Their ability to work is incredible. And their ability to tell the stories that they're telling inside the squared circle is incredible. Javon Evans and Rusev tore the fucking house down. The crowd was invested. It was a great match. It was a hard-hitting bout that showcased why they're in the position they're in. And Rusev comes up short as Javon Evans wins by a pinfall. This feud is going to continue. It is not over yet. I am looking forward to the future of the IC Championship, my favorite championship in all of professional wrestling. Next up, we have a video package on the history of the Mega Championship. It's a good package. It talks about, if you don't know much about the AAA Mega Championship and Lucha Libre in general, it is a great thing. It is a great introduction. AAA has been cooking. It's been really fucking good. Been debating on doing reviews on it for a while, but man, it was a great package, great segment. And then I got to see some of my boys from Knoxville, good old the Tennessee Volunteers football team. They had the WWE Championship with the Tennessee logo on it. It was cool to see them, guys that I'm hoping are going to be great this year. Then we had a backstage segment with Asuka and Io. This is Asuka saying goodbye. It's a heartfelt goodbye, and it may be gone for good. And I just want to say, Asuka, thank you. You've been the better part of wrestling for women, and for the last 4, 6, maybe 10 years I've watched and actually paid attention to the in-ring work. You have been one of the better ones. You have been incredible, and I'm going to miss you in WWE. And if you're done with wrestling in general, we lost a very, very good talent. But there's always another sunshine. There's always another sunset. And I am looking forward to seeing where we go without you. But Asuka, thank you very much for your service in the company. Thank you very much for being one of the greatest professional wrestlers I've ever seen wrestle. And we're going to miss you. I know she's probably never going to see this. And I know that, but as a professional wrestling fan, as someone who loves in-ring work, Asuka, you're one of the best. So thank you. It was a very emotional goodbye for Io, but that's all I have to say on that front. Thank you, Asuka, for everything. Next up, we had the Paige, Brie Bella, and Judgment Day segment. I have a mixed bag of feelings about this. I feel like the tag team division is still lacking in the women's department. And it's no sense of trying. They just have not figured out who is going to be the face of this thing. Because it's a nostalgia run right now. And as much as people say, oh, it's not, it is. Paige is great. Brie Bella is great, but it feels forced. It doesn't feel natural, and the fans don't really care. Now Raquel was the shining moment in this, and I'm hoping that we start to see more of this from Raquel. Her ability to speak, her ability to talk, because she cuts a very good promo on both Paige and Brie Bella, along with Roxanne Perez. And look, if these two are going to be the face of tag team wrestling, give them the titles and let them work. Maybe give them the longest reigning championship. I mean, like, do something, because these guys are the shining things in this division. Look, I've grown to like Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Charlotte's grown on me. Nia Jackson, Lash legend. Lash can't get over. Nia's been growing on me as well. And the Judgment Day is probably the only thing that I'm thinking, I'm like, man, they're wasting it, because Raquel's got heat, Roxanne's got heat, and they can cut a really good promo and work in the ring. Big Mommy Cool. I mean, she's very good. This segment ends with the Judgment Day destroying Paige and Brie Bella, setting up a feud and setting up a Saturday Night's Main Event match between the two for the tag titles. But again, I mean, the shining moments in this was the Judgment Day, and it gives me hope for this division going forward, and I'm looking forward to see where they go with it. But it was an okay segment. Like I said, a mixed bag. Started out slow, picked up the pace, and I was like, okay, I can see where we're going with this, and I like the direction. But like I said, it's just with Paige and Brie, it just feels off. So next up, we have a segment with Roman Reigns talking to Jimmy Uso. And Jimmy says that Jay is in the parking lot waiting for Jacob Fatu. Roman pretty much says that everyone's trying to bail Jacob out. They made a deal. There's a contract, blah, blah, blah. I do not care. They said that, he has to acknowledge me. And it's not good. I just don't care. Like, this feud is getting stale very quickly. And by the end of the show, I've completely lost all interest. Because of how they built the match, and now they're just doing this bullshit. And it's like, look, if you were gonna do this, just put Jacob over and not just keep doing this shit, because it doesn't work for Roman. I don't believe it. I don't believe Roman can get destroyed like this. This is not, bro, Roman Reigns is not the man to get destroyed and put down by one man. Keep in mind, history, like Roman Reigns, think about The Fiend versus Braun Strowman. Roman Reigns killed both of them and sacked them up and pinned them to win the Universal Championship. This is that man. So you're telling me one fucking dude can take out that guy? I don't fucking believe it. So when you're trying to force feed this to me, I'm not going to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it. I want to sit back and be like, oh, it's great. But I have an issue with it because the fans aren't behind it as much. You can hear it in the crowd. You can feel it online. And it can't be over soon enough, because we're getting to this point where, like I said in my Backlash review, I know Oba's going to win the world championship. And I know it's going to happen. I know he's going to pin Roman. So it's almost like, can we just get it over with? Please. But that's all I have to say on that segment. I did not like this backstage portion. Next up, match of the night, 4.5. This match showcased the future and the past of Raw and what is to come. Io Sky versus Sol Ruca. Incredible. I have to say, without a doubt, one of the best women's matches I've seen in a long time. This finish was smart. This finish was great. The only reason it's not 4.5 is because obviously I can't give 5 stars to a match on Raw, regardless of how good it is, but it was damn near 5. It was in fucking incredible. Sol Ruka is so unbelievably good inside the squared circle. I am hyped for what she's going to bring to Raw. I am hyped for what she's going to do for this brand and this company. She is incredible. Io was the perfect foil, and it told this story from the opening bell, which is why it gets such high praise. Io has been wrestling longer than Sol Ruka. Sol Ruka's been doing this for 4 years. Same with Oba. In this match, the amount of times that was very apparent because of Io's movements, Io's counters, was fantastic. They told this story. Oh my God, it was beautiful. It was beautifully written. Whoever produced this match needs a fucking Oscar, because it never went away from that story. It was always there. And that's what I love. I loved that. In the end, Io wins by a roll-up because she countered the Soul Snatcher. That is perfect. Take fucking notes. That is how you do that. That is how you tell an in-ring story. That is how you build off of this. And even after the match, they shook hands and this is the future we'll face again. So good. I cannot give enough praise for this match because it just felt right. Io gets a win, but Sol looked fantastic. It doesn't bury Sol. It doesn't hurt Sol. In fact, it elevates Sol, and it showcases, hey, you just got here. You're not quite there yet, but you will be. Because there were times where they were standing and they were going back and forth, and I was like, man, this is a great match. What a phenomenal match. Great match. I cannot say enough. Great finish, great story. I'm looking forward to these two in the future. Next up, Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso have another promo segment. And again, I don't care. We learned that Corey Graves will be on the call for WWE Clash in Italy. I'm super excited for that. We get a recap of the John Cena Classic that was announced. And then Jackie Redmond has a backstage segment with the Street Profits. Great segment. Seth comes in, and this is where I was a little confused because for me, it looked like Angelo got thrown into the spear, but I guess not, because Angelo's like, hey, we should hear out Seth. And Montez said, no, we've heard him out. He said to stay out of his way. And then Seth says that he is sorry. He was wrong. And yeah. Montez, again, cuts a great promo. He says, you're the greatest of our generation, a revolutionary, but you cannot be trusted. And Montez says that they don't need Rollins' help to kick the Vision's ass. Great segment for these guys. And again, it showcases how good the Street Profits are. Great segment. Great fucking segment. Then we head out of the commercial break, Io Sky and Sol Ruka in the backstage area. Io says that Sol is the future and they will fight again, teasing a championship bout, and I am excited. I'm very excited. Then Becky Lynch shows up and it teases the Intercontinental title bout that's more than likely going to happen. Super excited. Great segment. Next up, highlights of the night for me, Oba Femi's Open Challenge. And Oba soaking in the overness he is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Excited as hell for this match I was. And then Adam Pearce came out. And Adam Pearce said, Oba, unfortunately, and I started laughing really fucking hard because he goes, no one wants to fight you. And I went, what? No. Adam Pearce canceled the Open Challenge. Oba didn't like that. Oba went back to the back, found Los Garza, grabbed both of them, brought them out to the ring, and beat their ass and won the Open Challenge. This open challenge is very funny. This open challenge is great for Oba. It's setting up him as a dominant force. Love every bit of it. Match 3.5. Got no problems with it. It's really good. And I very, 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 very much enjoy the fact that Oba said, no one wants to fight me. Everyone's a fucking coward. Goes back, finds his own opponents, kills them both. 1, 2, 3. It's over. That's all I got to say on that. Love it. Loved it to death. Next up, we have the segment where El Grande Americano gets a vignette about the AAA Mega Championship, and it is what it is. Then Finn Balor jumps out of fucking nowhere and kills JD McDonough. Throws him, and he fucking slams against the equipment. I thought he died. I even said, I was like, oh, fuck, he's dead. And then they threw him, and he said, oh, don't you got a match to get to? Bye-bye. Next up, we had Dominic Mysterio versus El Grande Americano for the Mega Championship. Great match. 4 stars. And the finish was a very a clever way to do what they did. And let's talk about that before we get into the finale of the show. Dominic Mysterio wins by pinfall to retain his championship. During the match, Corey Graves showcases why he's the voice of AAA. He's very knowledgeable about Lucha Libre. He understands the brand. He is doing a great job down there, and I love him on commentary. And he showcases that. He's a student of the game, and he says some history about Lucha Libre. He mentions names that maybe people don't know. El Macias, Dr. Wagner Jr., El Vikingo. Like these guys that if you don't watch Lucha Libre, you don't know who they are. But Corey showcasing he understands that is fantastic. This match ends when El Grande Americano tries to take off the mask, or the OG tries to take off El Grande Americano's mask, and they're over the ring, like in between the middle ropes. And he's holding on to the mask, trying to rip it off. And El Grande Americano swings, or Dominic Mysterio swings off into a 619. A clever way to do this, because he's in the position he's in. It's a perfect spot for a 619. It saves El Grande Americano from getting demasked. And it was a great set. It was a great match. I mean, I enjoyed it other than the fucking Creed brothers involvement. It was fantastic. It showcased Lucha Libre between the two, showed why Dom is the future of wrestling in Lucha Libre. It showed why he's where he is, why he's Mega Campeon. And it's a great match. I got no issues with other than the Creed brothers, but clever finish. I was like, man, that's pretty fucking cool. And Dominic Mysterio retains. Then we have a segment next week. I'm sorry, so it's not Saturday Night Main Event. Next week, Brie Bella and Paige will put on their tag team titles on the line against Judgment Day, and Oba Femi Open Challenge will continue. We'll see what happens next week. Jackie Redmond had a backstage interview with The Vision as we close out the show here. What was their reaction to everything happening tonight? Logan calls Jackie Redmond Wacky Redmond. Again, not Logan Paul's greatest work. Not good. Not a great segment. However, as the car was pulling away, who shows up in the car but Maxine Dupree, teasing her involvement in The Vision. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm interested to see where this goes. Could she be the first woman in The Vision? We'll see. I'm excited. I'm curious to see how they do it. Now the part that you could probably skip if you wanted to. If you've seen the past couple weeks between Roman and Jacob, where Jacob just kills Roman, that's all this is. Doesn't do anything to further the feud. Doesn't do anything. Jacob Fatu kills Roman. That's it. That's how Raw ends. It's disappointing end to a good show. All in all, it's about a 7 out of 10 this week. I enjoyed it for the most part. Again, the Roman Reigns stuff feels stale. I hope they get away from this. I hope that once, we start building for Oba, it feels better. But this is just, it's not good. The middle of the show and the beginning of the show really kept the show and kept me invested. But yeah, So the big takeaways for me tonight: Sol Ruka is going to be a huge thing in the future world champion. Io Sky and Sol Ruka are going to be working like crazy. The Street Profits are going to be tag team championships or tag team champions. And Joe Hendry is over as fuck. And the last takeaway: Penta, Rusev, Javon Evans, and All Ego Ethan Page are killing it in the IC Championship division. But without further ado, that's everything for tonight. We will be back on Thursday to talk about AEW, Dynamite, and NXT. I'm looking forward to these two, as Naruku is debuting for NXT, and on AEW Dynamite it will be Kazuchika Okada versus Darby Allin in a possible contract signing for MJF versus Darby Allin Championship versus Hair. I'm super hyped. But if you've all enjoyed, leave a comment down below what you think about today's show, maybe a rating or so. We have just surpassed 40 subscribers, so thank you. I am extremely grateful to each and every one of you who watches the show and Talking Trash and comes back to the dumpster. It's very heartwarming to see that. I've been sitting at 39 for quite some time, and I finally broke 40, and I'm super excited for the future of this channel. RCW will be next week. WLW is slow to return because of time constraints, but I'm going to keep doing reviews. I think that's, you guys seem to enjoy it. And if you like this type of content, if you enjoy it, and you find yourself coming back, why not subscribe? You're coming back anyway. And don't forget to leave a like and comment your thoughts about today's show and what you think. And I will see you all on Thursday. So have a great rest of your Tuesday. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Thursday. Have a great rest of your week.